This is the Life Experience Podcast with Bart Pronk.
So Ian, how are you doing?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Relaxed?
Feel good. Feel really good.
Yeah? Why?
Well, there's a couple factors in that. One, I'm in Costa Rica at Finca Bellavista. I am with a group of awesome people in an amazing place. And I'm microdosing.
Alright.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that?
I'm doing it because of the research and the science and the impact that I've seen it have on other people, and I've heard the impact it's had on other people. And then I test out like everything that I possibly can within reason. And so I tested it out, and it's a complete game changer. And that's what I heard. It is a game changer, and it has changed me dramatically, like in numerous ways. And that's just one of the things that I've used to have through psychedelics, actually, that have changed me dramatically.
So what kind of psychedelics is this then?
The mushrooms.
Mushrooms.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Microdosing with mushrooms. Shrooms or psilocybin. Yeah. So.
And how does it affect you?
So the microdosing affects me. Well, I mean, there's so many benefits to it. Like, I had brain damage, and so the studies show, that PTSD, severe brain damage, or just brain damage in general, depression, anxiety, can be cleared out with macrodosing. So I've actually done a bunch of macrodosing, and then I do microdosing, and I've noticed I'm happier. I notice my focus is better, my creativity is better, I'm way more patient with my family, I feel better in general, I'm just generally happier. I've gotten into flow states, and I've gotten more work done in the last year than I think I have in the 9 years previously in my business. We've been now going 10 years, and so it's just a remarkable changes on such a small thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're here in a beautiful place, so
Yeah. The colors are brighter.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I have also some small experience with microdosing.
Yeah.
I grow my own batch of mushrooms.
Yeah.
And
Same thing, same kind of experience, or what?
yeah, I've never actually macrodosed. I've never took more than just a microdose actually, but you get in the zone. I think that's the most important, and I think in the long term you can easily access that. But I think the shrooms help you to open up something, and then
I agree,
because I don't think it's normal when you microdose all the time.
Yeah. I think in today's society, it's a challenge to be able to get to that point without using these little hacks, as people call them, right? And because we don't have time to really go into the meditation if we're trying to, like, for hours a day. I mean, we do. That's a story that I'm creating that doesn't suit everybody, but for me, with 2 kids, health issues, health challenges, running 4 businesses.
4?
Yeah, 4 different businesses, and just constantly, like, going and having stuff to do. I could, if I wanted to, stop and do the meditation. I do a lot of meditation, I do a lot of healing stuff, but I don't know. Now that I'm talking about it, I don't know that you can actually do that without these assists, Because we talk about the Wim Hof Method, and the Wim Hof Method has taken me pretty far in the healing process, and oxygen is essential to everything. But the Wim Hof Method, in combination with some of these things we do, just heightens it to, like, another extreme. And so, yeah, I don't really know I haven't experienced that. So that's the only way I could say is like in my experience of doing a lot of stuff, that the shrooms and the other psychedelics have just completely changed the game for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're gonna write a book, right?
Yeah, I'm writing a book called Healing Hacks because along the ways, the last 10 years, I have experimented on a lot of crazy stuff, and to try to heal myself using unconventional methods. I gave up on the medical system because it just made me worse, and they're the ones that actually put me in. I don't want to put all the responsibility on them. I am fully responsible for what happened, and I know what words and what thoughts and feelings brought me to that state. And but if we had a medical system that was designed to heal and help us, I wouldn't have ended up where I was. All right, so I was given some pretty powerful medicines that kind of just took me down. Almost killed me.
What happened?
Ruined my life. So I was doing a training program, and hey Justin,
hey.
We're just doing a little podcast here.
Are you on a podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I was doing a training program.
You can chill out.
Yeah, you can chill. You can chill here. So I was doing. I was working in New York City. I was running training departments, and I was working hard. I was training hard, and I was running for a race, Men's Health. It was called the Urban Athlon. I'd actually wrote the programs in Men's Health magazine.
You did that?
Yeah, I wrote some of the training programs in Men's Health magazine and then I was featured in there as like expert veteran trainer. And so I had a lot of ego connected to it, which was like, I'm gonna win this race, and I planned to win it, and I had the ability to win it, and I had the training knowledge. And at that 2 weeks before, I got sick, and I couldn't figure out why I wasn't getting better. And part of it was the food that got me sick. I was eating pasta to try to carb load, not knowing that I probably had a wheat allergy. This was like around the time that not many people really, it wasn't on people's radar too much. So I was carb loading with pasta. And I just kept training and pushing, got sick. And I said, I'm just going to run the race anyways. And I was on antibiotics. And I said at one point, like, I'd rather die than not run it, you know.
Wow.
We are a manifestation of our words. And I remember that was the thought I had. That's what I said. And I still ran it. And I remember my heart rate went up above 204 while I was running. And I was like, something's wrong, because I could run out flat for a mile, like sprinting, and my heart rate wouldn't go above 193, like at the max at that time. And so I just kept running, and I had a mindset that, like, don't give up, never stop, keep going, keep pushing, push through pain. I'd recently come out of like some military training for the Marine Corps, and that was like my mindset at the time, which was not healthy. It wasn't real health. Right? I was in the health fitness industry, but that was not real health. That was crazy. It was insane. And so I ran the race. I still finished. I actually like jogged it. And there was one part where you run up 50 flights of stairs. It was 8 miles, all these obstacles. You run up, jumping over cabs, go through obstacles. You run up 50 flights of stairs, you run down, you hop over walls, blah, 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 blah. And it was tough for me because I still finished like just jogging it in the top 10%.
And what was your position in the race then?
I don't remember, but
not first.
No, I wasn't first. I was just.
No.
But it was like, man, if I just was better, I would have won that. But that was my mindset then, and I've grown, and that helped me because that race destroyed me. I was never the same afterwards.
What happened?
I got walking pneumonia. of course, I did what most people do, and they go to the doctor, and like the doctor's going to help me, and they gave me a medication that wasn't even approved for the market. It's part of the fluoroquinolone family of antibiotics. It was called Avalox. And if you look those up, they've destroyed endless amounts of people's lives. Most people don't even know that's destroyed their lives. These are the people that are aware and conscious of it. It took me a couple of years. And it wasn't just that. There was other aspects to it. I probably was depleted of minerals, magnesium, vitamins, etc., because I had been training and stressed for so long, and all these things. And so anyways, I took that in combination with an inhaler steroid and an oral steroid, and it destroyed my gut, and I started having neurological problems, severe bowel issues, and no doctor could tell me what was going on. No one could figure it out. They all wanted to do the same thing, blood test, and then I remember one time I went to the doctor and got a blood test, and I felt like the worst I'd ever felt in my life. And it was a breaking point for me, because the nurse came in and said, "Oh, I wish I had your blood test. Here's this blood test is perfect." And that's when I was like, you know what? I'm fucking done with the medical system. And luckily I came across somebody that was a holistic healer. He was actually a former personal trainer that just got into holistic healing. And he healed me better than anybody in 3 months. I just sent him my hair sample.
What did he do?
He had me go on natural antibiotics, garlic. We did a heavy metal cleanse, which in hindsight, it probably wasn't the best option at the time, but it got me better, way better than I was. I removed my amalgam fillings out, which was the first thing I did, because they were a large part of that. So heavy metals in combination with the antibiotics, they actually work negatively. And so yeah, just destroyed my gut, destroyed my brain. I was like 27 years old, in the best shape of my life, and in 6 months after that, I looked like my face started changing, my body started changing, I started losing muscle. It was just, I went from being in the best shape to just like being terrible shape and feeling like shit and wanting to die, really. I ended up in the hospital, and I had a point where it was like, if I'm going to live like this, I don't want to live anymore. And I actually made a commitment to myself that I'm going to live, and I'm going to use this as an opportunity to heal myself, and then share that story with the world to inspire people who have gotten to that place, rather than give up.
Were there moments you thought you're gonna die?
What's that?
Were there moments that you thought, I'm gonna die?
Yeah, I curled over in my apartment with a level of pain that was beyond 10. And I've had pain in my life, but this was like a different level. And I just curled over, and my girlfriend at the time, she knew something was wrong, so she said, let's go to the hospital. We went to the hospital, and they did like a CAT scan or MRI. And they told me, oh, you have gastroenteritis, which is like the flu or stomach bug or something. And I was like, lady, have you ever had gastroenteritis? She was like, oh, yeah. Like, and you were in this much pain. She's like, well, it was painful and blah, blah. I'm like, okay. And then they started to send me home, and I start walking out of the hospital. And then all of a sudden, nurse comes running. No, we need to admit you right away. And apparently, the infectious disease doctor luckily had came and looked at the CAT scan and said, he needs to be admitted instantly.
Oh.
He's got intestines twisted. And next thing I know, like, I'm on a gurney, IVs, things down my throat, like all this stuff. And yeah, then they did blood work, and they said, you were close. Yeah, it was luckily because I'd been in relatively good shape, even though I'd been sick at that point for about 6 months to a year, roughly. I don't remember exactly. I probably, because I was in good shape, I was able to kind of handle that type of stress on the body. And so yeah, I was in the hospital 3 days, but I still hadn't changed my mindset to health. I was still on my laptop in the hospital, like clicking on the phone, like making sure things are happening, like I gotta succeed in my business and blah blah blah. And I remember the nurse came in, she was like, "Whoa, I guess we don't stop for anything, huh?" And I was kind of like, "What do you mean?" It didn't really register at that time. And so eventually they gave me like severe painkillers, and I passed out eventually, and that's when I started to heal. And
But what made it change the healing process?
so they just told me that I had Crohn's disease and I needed to take medication, which cost $1,800 a month. And I had already spoken to a friend of mine who, Peter Osborne, great doctor down in Houston, I believe he is in. And he's also known as like the gluten-free guy. And he helped me out a lot because I was on the cusp of like telling me, "Oh, you have to take this medication. This is gonna, you got this for life. This is the end of it." And I remember going online and looking it up and being like, "There's no evidence that shows this actually works. Like the Mayo Clinic studies are not conclusive that it works. They think it's like 50-50 and they don't even really know if it works or not." And so they're like scaring me into getting the medication. And I was at the pharmacy and I picked up the phone and I called Peter Osborne. He's like, "Ian, that's what they want from you. They want you to be scared. You can heal yourself." And I already had told myself that I'm going to heal myself naturally and that I'm going to use this to help others. And I said, "Yep."
But did you actually had Crohn's disease, or was it just?
See, I don't know. I mean, Crohn's disease is like I don't like to label anything because as I've learned along the way from many doctors that have healed worse things than Crohn's disease, that there's one disease and that's it.
Yeah.
And so when you label something, you subscribe to that label. And now it's in your head. And then it's like, "Oh yeah, I have this."
Yeah.
Right? It makes me laugh. It makes me think of the South Park episode where the father finds out he has alcoholism. And he comes home, he's like, "You don't understand, son, I have a disease. Go get me a beer."
Yeah.
And he's like now using it as an excuse.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like cutting people in line at a healing, like people are lined up for a healer. And he's cutting people like, "Oh, you don't understand, I have a disease. I have a disease." And then people find out he has alcoholism. They're like, "You don't have a fucking disease." Yeah. And so it's just one of those things that you now have labeled, and we use words powerfully. And once you label it something, you're now telling yourself that you have this thing that is specific. And I'm not taking anything away from people's healing, but really the body is designed to heal and heal naturally on its own if we give it the right stuff. And no matter what you have, the healing process is the same. It's just that the energy is not flowing to that area properly because there was damage or something happened, and it just needs the love and care a little bit more than
But what did you do? Did you just change your food, or did you do a blood test, or?
Yeah, so the first thing, I started working with that holistic doctor. I sent him my hair, and he was in Hong Kong at the time. And so he got me on to remove my amalgam fillings. We did a bacterial parasite cleanse with the garlic powder and a tincture. And then he also did some long distance healing traumas. And that was the start. And when I saw the power of what could be done through holistic healing, that was when I was like, wow, okay, my mind is completely flipped about the body, about health, about what's actually going on in our society, about disease. and then I started to go deeper and deeper. And then he told me I had what's called KPU, is cryptopyluria, and it's like a lot of it has to do with zinc deficiencies, and so I started taking core minerals, and that helped with the process of healing. And so I just kept going further. That didn't fully get me healed, and I just kept testing things out. I wanted to be like I was before I got sick. And I was like, well, I know I can heal myself. And so I just went down this journey of testing things out and seeing what works and what doesn't work, and basically on a cellular level. And really it comes down to the cells in the area that you have the issue need to be healed, right? Our cells are the same as our body, right? They have excretory system, they have a nervous system, they have elimination system, right? They're us in a smaller form. We're just the same
So
thing.
actually you have a few billions of immune systems in your body.
Right. Yeah. You got even every cell has its own immune system, and they communicate just like we're communicating now. The cells communicate. They vibrate on a similar, like the liver cells will vibrate on a certain frequency. They're communicating with each other. They have a function. They have a job to do. They have a purpose. They have a meaning. And when we help give them what they need, cleanse it out, give them the nutrients, give them the vitamins, give them the minerals, the cells will begin to heal themselves. All right. And so, there's a...
How long did it take, the whole process?
The whole process for healing? I mean, I'm still in the healing process, I would say. But from the time that it really started, I was probably sick for about a few years before it really started to heal. So I would say it's now been 7 years of healing. Right? And I've had some fallbacks. Like from some of the things that I tested and tried, made me worse, wasn't good for me, so.
It usually gets worse after a while, right?
Well,
so the system needs to get rid of the toxins.
Yeah, so there's the Herx reaction, the Herxheimer guy by the last name Herxheimer came up with this, basically the healing crisis, like, as you're healing, sometimes the symptoms that you got when you got sick now reverse. And I felt a lot of that happen. But holistic medicine is getting a little bit better now, where it takes some of the guesswork out of it, and you can have tests done to see, like, hey, your glutathione levels are low, or your B12 levels are low, or this is off to a certain degree. And one of the things that I think is super powerful is that we don't create our own vitamin C, and vitamin C is essential, and a lot of babies come into this world deficient in vitamin C, and there's doctors like Dr. Klenner, who's curing 100% of polio cases with just vitamin C in orthomolecular medicine. They believe that SIDS was connected with low vitamin C levels, right? And so, if a kid has low vitamin C and then you inject him with toxins and poisons, you have a combination there that could
You're talking about vaccines.
Deadly, yeah. And so people, like, for example, you smoke a cigarette, it depletes 25 milligrams of vitamin C. Boom. So if you're a smoker, you're depleted of vitamin C like in a credible level. So they can take high doses of vitamin C for a few days, and that'll help the detoxing process. Sometimes, again, you want to go slow if you go too fast too soon. Actually, I ended up in the hospital because I tried that method, but I did it the wrong way, not knowing at the time. I tried a vitamin C detox, but I used regular vitamin C, which was made of corn, GMO corn, and not knowing that the vitamin C that they're serving is poison, actually. So when I took that, my intestines, which was already had issues, now just kind of... So vitamin C is essential, and you can get that through fruit and vegetables, but some people need such high doses of it. Like when you're sick, for example, goats, they will stop eating, and their vitamin C production, their body, like, skyrockets.
Just by stopping?
No, because they're sick.
Oh, right.
Because they produce it naturally.
Yeah.
And so because vitamin C kills off viruses, it kills off, like, bacteria, cleanses the body. It helps with the cell walls, builds the cell walls. Basically they take they take vitamin C, and I don't know where I was going with that. I had a brain lapse. What was I just talking about? I had a thought there that I was going with, and I wanted to say something specific about that. But anyways, so vitamin C, we don't produce it. So when you're sick, vitamin C levels need to be increased. Right?
Yeah.
There's only guinea pigs and like bats, some bats or something like that don't produce their own vitamin C. And when you're sick, just vitamin C alone can be a game changer.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what I wanted to say. So the vitamin C I took was corn based. Now you can get liposomal vitamin C. This goes into the cells much faster. They actually have nanospherical vitamin C, right? And so nanoparticleized, so it goes right into the cells. And my body's like a tuning fork just because I've been so sensitive to certain things for so long. You can literally I can feel the healing when I take some of this stuff. Right?
Wow.
And even, for example, we're in Costa Rica now when we travel here. When you travel, you have much more stress on the body. And you take a packet of vitamin C, and right away you quench those free radicals, and your travel is much better, your immune system's much better, you feel better.
And besides vitamin C, what else helps?
With traveling?
With whatever, with recovery?
With healing, with recovery?
Yeah.
Man, there's so many things, and it does depend on the person. So everybody's different, so everybody's healing is going to be completely different. There might be some people, like for example, I have an MTHFR gene mutation, so my body doesn't detox properly.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
What is
that? So MTHFR gene is basically, it's a gene mutation that, it stands for, I can't even remember it off the top of my head. But anyways, there's different MTHFR gene mutations, and a pretty large percentage of society has this. It's like somewhere between 20 and 30% or something like that. And those people are more sensitive to certain things, like for example, folic acid can actually be a poison, right? Unless you get folic acid that is methylfolate. Methylfolate has, it's a whole chemical process, but anyways, methylfolate will help the body detox, right? So example, I need methyl B12 to help me detox, right? If I take folic acid, it actually will poison me. And I know that because I actually experimented with a detox and it had folate and it made my symptoms way worse, right? As soon as I started taking methyl B12 and methyl folic acid, I started to feel the detoxification effects. So those people that have those gene mutations, it's very important to get tested and find out, because you may need methylfolate, may be suggested as a part of the genetic testing to help you detox, or you may need methyl B12 to help you detox. And if you're not getting that, then you might be storing all these toxins in your brain, and therefore your chances of Alzheimer's and dementia and etc. go up, right? And a lot of kids who have the MTHFR gene mutation, shouldn't be getting vaccinated because they can't detox properly, and that's where damage can occur.
Yeah.
And so, if I knew all this in hindsight, I wouldn't have, done the things I've done in the past.
But do you now have a kind of a protocol for other people, or
well,
is it just
the protocol
it's too
would
specific?
Be getting tested. There's a genetic test called MaxGen. It's like, I think $199, and it'll test your markers, and then it'll tell you like other tests that you can do to go further in discovering like what supplements or what things that may be good for you to test, like glutathione levels or something like that. And glutathione is the master antioxidant. It's in every cell. It works synergistically with, like, say, vitamin C. They have nanoglutathione now, this is like new technology that we haven't had until maybe 2 years ago or something like that. I use this company, Nanoceuticals. And so someone who's low in glutathione, you take that and you're going to feel different right away. I mean, like, you're just gonna feel great.
Well,
Yeah, and it'll help increase the natural glutathione levels because it'll help with the detoxification of the cells, boost the immune system, help with energy, help with recovery and training, all these things. And so, yeah, I mean, the process for healing now is typically to get tested and take the guesswork out.
yeah.
And so when you take the guesswork out, you can heal a lot faster and not experimenting like I did with a lot of things. And now they can test your DNA, they can test your genes, they can help you repair DNA, they can cleanse your genes. There's a great book called Dirty Genes by Ben, forget his last name, Ben Spears, Ben, whatever.
Just Ben.
Yeah, Ben. Ben. So anyways, yeah, he talks about how to cleanse your genes, all right, depending on what the issues are. So, yeah.
Nice. And then Wim Hof.
Yeah, so Wim Hof was one of the most powerful things. Being in the health and fitness industry for a long time, I'm always looking for the most simple, fastest ways to get results. And it's one of the simplest, fastest ways to get results. And knowing being in the fitness industry, knowing how powerful oxygen is for the body and how powerful the breath is. When I did the Wim Hof Method, I was like, whoa, this is next level. And so I went to the retreat for the first time.
Where was that?
And it was
I know,
best,
because we met in Spain,
Yeah.
so it's a
we
bit
were
stupid
there.
question, but
Yeah.
you know.
This is
yeah.
for the listeners.
Yeah, it's for
Yeah.
the listeners. We met in Spain.
Yeah, so yeah, Bart and I met in Spain, and it was one of the best trips. I'd probably say it was the best trip of my life. I mean, even though I was still in pain, I was still healing, I still had like crazy stuff going on, because I had done a detox that screwed me up. I was healing, and then I did some detox, and I learned a lot from it. I didn't have my detox pathways opened up. I had the MTHFR gene expression. I was taking folic acid, and it really messed me up bad. There was a point there when, after that, like I just thought I was dying, and I'm gonna like just wither away and die.
Well,
And I wanted to, because I didn't. I felt so bad. I must have expelled all the toxins, and then they just got reabsorbed back in my brain or something like that. Something to that effect. I don't really know. But I started to have numbness down my foot, down my arm. My brain was screwed up. And then I went and did the Wim Hof Method retreat, and it was kind of profound. And then I decided this is the path that I want to take.
What was so special for you being there?
The nature, the connection really with the people that were there. These were all people, like-minded people. I just felt like this is my tribe. Like meeting Wim, you know, he's a little crazy. You can be out there, say fucked up things. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Like I don't have like I'm conscious of people I'm around, so I don't say stuff like sometimes, but I want to be like, you know,
Yeah.
like Wim just doesn't care.
Yeah.
And so he attracts that type of person, and the people there were like, yeah. I was like, yeah, this is my tribe. They want to push hard. They want to go into ice bath. They want to go, you know, like grow. They want to get stronger. And
What inspired you the most?
while I was there,
Yeah.
uh,
I think, hey, this was it.
you know what inspired me about Wim, which got me to Spain, was the Vice documentary, when the guy asked a specific question, like, can you see my aura now? And Wim said, oh, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I like this guy.
Yeah. No
Because-
hippie bullshit.
Yeah, and he wasn't trying to pretend like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. Like, he was like, whatever, fuck you, I'm not,
Yeah.
like-
He wanted to tease him a little bit, and
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's when I was like, okay, this guy, you know, like they say, real recognizes real.
Yeah.
You know, like the
Yeah.
real. And I was like, I'm gonna go see what this guy's all about.
Yeah, and the breathing.
Yeah. And see what it's about. And then when I did the breathing, I'd done it on my own, but that's what I always want to emphasize to people. Like, and I'm a trainer, and I've have training facilities and all that stuff, and I train trainers, but one-on-one or in a group, being coached by exercise or the Wim Hof Method, or it doesn't compare to training by yourself or breathing by yourself. It just doesn't even come close. And
what were you specifically experiencing then in a group setting?
yeah, I mean, in Spain we're looking over a beautiful lake, and everybody breathing together. I started to feel like breakup in my brain of like the pineal gland, like decalcification of the pineal gland type stuff happening, and that's when I started to really understand the power of this. The numbness in my arm and legs started to disappear. My brain started to clear up. Then going in the ice bath, I could feel my immune system being stimulated. I can feel like all these areas in my body starting to heal. And so, yeah, it was pretty powerful. Yeah, it's life changing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's anybody that does it, and now as an instructor, I mean, I was doing breath work before it, and with breath work, I had a lot of powerful transformation changes, and now I incorporate this in a lot of things I do. You know, I specialize in back pain relief. I have a really well-known program all over the world called Back Pain Relief4Life, and I just add this as an addition to it if I think it's helpful. Right, so if I have someone do a couple rounds of breathing and then do the back program, it takes it to another level. If I do it in combination breathing with pulsed electromagnetic therapy and then the back program.
What's that?
Pulsed electromagnetic therapy is like a frequency generator that kind of shakes up the cells and helps, you know, depending on the frequency you use. There's the Rife machines out there, which some people know from Royal Rife, who was a guy that was curing diseases just through frequency until all his work was destroyed. And then people have figured out kind of what he did, but he was literally able to like look into the cell and see like what the disease was and then target that and like kill it off. And so I have a few of those machines, and I use that in combination with the breath work and exercise, and it enhances the breath work about 40 to 50%.
Yeah.
Because the breath work itself increases nutrients absorption and intake. Pulse electromagnetic therapy helps with that, so in combination just takes that to another level, stimulates the healing process to a next level. So it's yeah, it's really powerful.
And now we're sitting here, right?
Yeah.
We met in Spain, and then you were talking about your treehouse in Costa Rica and this nice natural community where they grow their own foods, and we start talking about that, and you said, hey, you should visit once when you come in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
And then we just said, hey, why won't we do just a Wim Hof retreat here?
Yeah. It made sense. Like, I build the treehouse here for retreats, and that was the idea. And I started doing the retreats, and then I realized like the changes I had in Spain. Like while I was in Spain and we were speaking, I was like, hey, why don't we do a retreat in Costa Rica?
The only challenge was the ice, but
we made it happen.
We made it happen. Yeah, you think it's such a remote place, and how do you bring ice in the jungle where the weather is quite hot?
Yep. It takes a half hour to get up the mountain to bring the ice.
Yeah, but it's working.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about connection, and I think you really feel disconnected here.
Yeah.
No Wi-Fi, almost no Wi-Fi, no signal.
Yeah.
You
just looking here right now.
Yeah.
It's paradise. It's a magical place, and transformations are easy to happen here because our environment affects our feelings, and the feeling that people get when they come here is pretty powerful. And so I tell people never to underestimate the power of changing your environment, which is why I always suggest retreats to people, because when you change your environment, you change how you show up in the world, and that changes your feelings, your thought patterns. You become a different person, you take on different energy, and especially when you show up with like-minded people that vibrate on that level because they're coming to improve themselves and to grow, etc. It can really change the person for life.
Yeah.
And impact their entire life, just like in Spain did. Now I'm a Wim Hof instructor. I went to LA, I went to Poland, we've done 2 retreats here. Like, that's how powerful retreats are.
Yeah.
If I didn't go to Spain and do the retreat, I wouldn't be a Wim Hof instructor.
Yeah.
So,
Right, man. I think some people coming in here, so let's end the conversation.
yeah,
It was nice to talk with you.
Yeah.
Of course, we're here for 4 days, so it's bullshit to say that, but...
but thanks for having me on this
yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, man. Yes.
Yeah.
And looking forward to the next episode.
Yeah.
We're planning to go back in August
Yeah.
for our already 3rd retreat here.
Yeah.
So I really recommend people also to come if they feel inspired now by your talk.
Yeah.
And
We do have recommendations for the type of people that want to come
Yeah.
here. So, if you're interested, we may ask you a few questions to see if you're a good fit.
yeah,
And but yeah, we would love to have anybody that's looking to grow, heal, get better as a person, and enjoy beautiful Costa Rica.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
How can they find us? Let's check out WimHofMethod.com, I will say, and our retreat will be there
Yeah,
somewhere underneath other activities from other instructors. But,
yeah, and Instagram and Facebook.
yeah.
Usually I do most of my stuff on Facebook.
What's your Instagram handle?
It's at Ian, IANR, Hart. And Facebook is, if you just type in Ian Hart, usually
will
I'll
find
pop
it.
up. Yeah.
It's the pretty guy with the blue coat on, right?
Well, I have the blue coat on my
Yeah,
profile now.
Okay, yeah.
Could be something.
Okay, man. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Cool.